Had to put gloves on for this one today. It's too cold outside. Steve, are you coming? We're going outside. You're a Maine Coon cat. You know, Rex, calm down. Stay. 25 degrees, warming up now. The sun's been up for about an hour. Let's go slow. Yeah, that's slow, right? Steve, you coming? I guess Steve is coming too. Maine Coon cat. It's a cold one. Oh, yeah, it's the coldest so far this season. Again. I think that's about the fourth week in a row, which makes sense as you go into December. There's my window washing bucket from before I went north. Steve's trying to go back in the door. You're going to get tangled over there. Well, look at this. Often when it snows for the first time here at my house, the snow accumulates more on the side of the house than it does on the ground, and then it falls off onto the ground. So I did get a little bit of snow here yesterday. Footprints here. And you move inland about 3 or 4 miles, and it was more like 3 or 4 inches. Doug Kent in Hingham had to clear his truck. I got a question on the YouTube channel yesterday from Brian. I think Brian lives around here somewhere. He says, how can they forecast less than an inch and we get more than 3 inches? Well, Brian, that's a really good question. It was called a mesoscale event. A mesoscale means very small scale as opposed to synoptic scale like the storm we're going to have this weekend. A mesoscale, there was some influence from the ocean, some warmer, more humid air coming in off the ocean, very cold air up in the sky, an upper level low, and a surface storm way out over the ocean with a spoke of energy that came across southern New England. And so it made very isolated amounts of the first shovelable snow of the season 24 hours ago. And often when that happens, the next day you get the coldest air of the season. And sure enough, this morning, Boston Logan Airport, 21 degrees, the coldest since the last week of February. And it's windy, so there's a wind chill factor this morning. A lot of clouds around. Steam coming off of the Atlantic Ocean. Rick Barber in Agunquit, Maine, out there sacrificing his fingers and getting a great shot of the cirrus clouds way up in the sky to our north there. Can you see those geese right over the water? I have gloves on, so I cannot alter my zoom, and hopefully the audio is consistent because I can't change my zoom with these gloves on. So much to talk about this morning. Before the sun came up this morning at Jay Peak Resort, everybody's talking about it. Light pillars. The sun was not up at 4 o'clock this morning. It can happen with sunshine. There's been a tremendous amount of optical phenomena. Very tiny ice crystals. They're hexagonal, 6-sided. All snowflakes have 6 points, and some are plates. So a plated ice crystal, tiny, reflects the light from the ground. So I was just recording, and all of a sudden it stopped recording. Where was I? Talking about the light pillars at Jay Peak Resort and all the optical phenomenon. All right, my headset's giving me grief. Time out. I don't blame you guys for wanting to go in. All right. It's freezing outside. I know. Shoot. So my headset just kind of fouled up my production this morning, but the show goes on. This is recorded live, one take, no script. Out the door, weather and more every day, regardless of disruptions. I don't know how much we got through those light pillars at Jay Peak this morning, but part of the halo phenomena of light reflecting and refracting off of ice crystals, often way up in the sky, but over the last several days, it's been very down close to the ground. We were talking to Jim Cantori about it yesterday, Weir and I, on the way home. He said, just go back to college, boys. Remember, sublimation. It went right from a vapor to a solid. And we called it deposition. A formation of snowflakes and ice crystals at the lowest levels of the atmosphere. So when I drove off to go skiing a few days ago, it had begun to rain, and then yesterday it snowed, so I wasn't here to monitor the rain gauge. Liquid equivalent 0.9 inches of precipitation since I left back on Sunday. And you're not supposed to get ice in your gauge, but what can I do? Nobody else wants to take care of it. Heavy frost on the worm child pile. The cold spot this morning, Berlin, New Hampshire. With the radiational cooling, it went calm in Berlin, and we got down to -8. Coldest so far this season. Meanwhile, 4,000 feet up the Mount Washington Auto Road, it was 17 degrees above zero, 25 degrees warmer going up 4,000 feet in elevation this morning in northern New Hampshire. That's called an inversion. Down here in Boston, we do not have an inversion. We have just still pure cold air advection. And for the first time in a couple of weeks, it's not snowing anywhere in New England that I know of, but it is snowing pretty hard in parts of Pennsylvania and New York. That is the leading edge of warmer air. There's a warm front over northern Pennsylvania, but it's not really coming in our direction, and not in the short term anyway. There's going to be that area of energy sliding off to our southeast, and we actually turn that back into a cold front. Warm front turns around, goes the other way. It's a cold front with high pressure still coming over us tonight. Another very cold night with a low temperature in the single numbers and teens, especially where there's snow on the ground. Probably the 20s again here in my backyard in Boston, and maybe without any wind. We'll see if we can get an inversion. Not a lot of sunshine around, not a lot of clear sky. The coldest weather is going to leave here tomorrow afternoon. Then everyone's talking about the weekend storm. It is all it can be, and the battle between warm and cold is going to rage, and warm is going to win here, and there's going to be a ripping jet stream coming all the way from really Central America, the Gulf of Mexico, and the Bahamas. And the gold at 200 millibars, that's over 150 knots way up in the sky from the south. And that's warmer air coming in. The temperature, here's the Boston chart, jumps up to near 60 late Sunday night, and then falls off a cliff Monday when the cold air comes back in. It is an incredibly dynamic system. There are thunderstorms possible. Let's go to the QPF, quantitative precipitation forecast. Mostly rain coming in late Sunday. This is all going to happen really fast Sunday night. 2 to 3 inches there of liquid equivalent precipitation if it's all rain. Most of it is going to be rain, and there'll be a lot of melting, but I don't think there's going to be time for rivers to flood, not that kind of extreme rapid snow melt, because it's going to all happen so fast before the cold air comes back in Monday morning, and rain changes to snow before the sun even comes up in Vermont. Probably just end as rain in parts of Maine. And snowfall, go to that. All right. No, wind. I want to go to 925 millibars. That's 2,500 feet. And red is 50 knots just above the surface. Often in wintertime, that does not mix down to the surface because of an inversion. We'll see about that. And then gold, that's over 75 knots of wind, down to about 2,500 feet. And if we get some thunderstorms or channeling of that wind, we could get some gusts close to 80 miles per hour on Cape Cod and the coast of Maine first thing Monday morning before it eases out and comes around from the northwest and we start to turn colder. All right, so that's just an incredibly dynamic front. Everyone's all talking about that, so I don't need to focus on that. You want to know how much snow? I think the guidance yesterday was a little overdone with the snow, with that deep purple showing 10 to 25. In my snowcast, I mentioned more like 5 to 10 with the potential of more. So 5 to 10 inches of snow, Adirondacks, northern Vermont, possible on Monday morning. So it will still look like a winter wonderland. The snowpack will be more dense, but it won't be as deep. It'll be more water in the snow and still enough snow to go skiing. So really not bad weather until about Sunday morning. And then Monday doesn't look too nice with the windy and cold weather. And then it does look kind of quiet. Let's go to that the Euro now. We're going to look at the lower 48 with the colder air coming back in Monday night, Tuesday. And then it's high pressure to our south, but it's a cold high. It's going to take a couple days, then it tries to warm up about the middle or second half of next week with another front coming at us from the north with a chance of some more snow near the Canadian border. And then by late next week and on Saturday, we have cold air in Canada, another storm in the Mississippi River Valley, and warmer air trying to come at us, guaranteeing more action. For the most part, it's a fairly wintry pattern across New England, not most of the nation, but it should turn fairly quiet after the Sunday night storm. So it's been so active, we only had one way to go with that. My eyes have been closed. I didn't even know I had my camera tilted off to the lower left. Oh, so much to talk about, and this video is already so long. Yesterday's so fun looking at the optical phenomena, and I was asked, where's that snow stake on Mount Mansfield in my YouTube comments, and you get off the Forerunner quad, go down toward Nosedive, and then continue up what's the toll road, the auto road in the summertime, goes all the way up to the peak. You just walk up there, and it's on the left after about a 15-minute hike. And then there's another snow stake at Mount Mansfield that's lower down at about, I don't know, maybe 3,200 feet or something like that at the top of the lookout chair. And I went to the snow stake yesterday. I'll describe how that works. That's the one you see on the web camera. And we'll talk about that and what else. Leaving Vermont yesterday, kind of sad, and it was still snowing. Just incredible how much snow we've had already this season. So when you're in this kind of a high amplitude flow, you know it's going to go the other way at some point. Anyhow, very pretty frosty leaves, aren't they? Those are also ice crystals, hexagon columns and plates. And the wilted, hurting hydrangea hopefully will be fine next summer. Okay, hope this all worked out for you. Taking off my gloves, turning off my camera. Talk to you tomorrow. Look at him. Steve's back out. I'm back out. Haven't fed the birds in a couple days. That's how that works. There used to be a whole big bulb glass bird feeder, and over the years it's just fell apart to that. It's so hard to find a good bird feeder, don't you think? Yeah! There is an opening there in the trees, but you can see there are branches, and snow does come and fall off onto the board occasionally here. This is the stake. And the way it works is it just tips over automatically every morning at 6 a.m. So there we are at 2010 on a Wednesday, December 6th. You got your thermometer there, and it's lit. I really like this. So if you look at the bottom, you can see that there's still some snow, on the bottom of it that's stuck there. So when that tips over tomorrow morning, it will show a couple of inches. You know, that clump fell out of the trees last night, and it's still there. But for this morning, it has been snowing very lightly, and we've had a dusting. So just tremendous snowpack here. So of course there's a little rain on the way, but that always happens. You get great snow and then it rains and it'll start snowing again. We're gonna have a great winter. Already is a great winter. Day 6 for skiing for me, I think.